the essence and the meaning of love in giving. Her charity knows no bounds.
I don't think in gender boxes at all. I just get on with it.
A man that would dare to ask the wife, who do you think you are? That is a real man.
In fact, our husbands are our firstborns. The husband needs more attention than even the children.
It's not only about work, it's not only about family. They need to take the time to look after themselves, and we don't do that.
They took my money, I paid every fees. I never asked to be hoisted as a governor. I wanted to be allowed to go out there and contest for the position of governorship candidate first.
There's nothing greater than looking back and seeing that while you were aspiring, you were able to inspire others.
Empower to women. Yes, we need to have more women, multitaskers around Nigeria to get Nigeria working.
Definitely. Join me as I welcome Mrs. Reverend Ijeoma Emeribe.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas ahead of time.
Same to you and every other person. Yeah.
All right. Now, I started by describing your charity. Every day I wake up, I hear things. Recently, I heard about your book. We'll get to talk about that. But I'd like to know, that book really, it says it's your life story.
Yeah, the story
Could you
of my
share
life.
the essence of the story for me?
Well, like the title of the book goes like The Long Journey Home. It's not like I sat down and decided to write a book. It was just a story, my life story that I shared 2 years ago, at a campground, and then a lot of people were inspired and all those things. So my friend had to go to US and then talked about the story, and then somebody just picked it up, and then after that, and then it happened at the time when we wanted to open the Woman Africa Foundation in America. So, and then they needed me to just say something about the foundation and myself, and then the story of my life was repeated, and then everybody was, wow, did she really go, pass through all these things and was able to survive, so I think that was what, every other person was talking about. And then even the person that was the middle person between me and the company who took the book said, when the wife was reading it, the wife was like in tears, say, are you saying that a little girl actually, went through all these things and she's talking today, and now she's she's chairperson of many companies and organizations like this. Are you sure? So, and then they picked it up, and then we had to go into a contract for life. So that was how it came.
So the book was now published in America.
Yeah.
And I'm
Salem
told
Salem Publishing House.
Salem Publishing House.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon as we speak,
It's
right?
on Amazon right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
somebody told me that it's been, positioned for reenactment or screenplay on Hollywood.
Yes, I'm actually supposed to be in US this December to sign the contract, and then it kind of made me know that God is a finisher. God is a finisher in the sense that you can imagine from my lowly background. Not when I talk about coming from a lowly background, it's just like I came from 2 royal families, but I was brought up like an orphan. You understand? Not knowing my father, not knowing where my mother is, and then having to grow up with my grandfather and my step-grandmother.
Why was that so?
Yeah, it was so because my mom, some of them are actually in the book. My mom didn't actually have a good marriage, you understand? So she was always from one bad one to the next one. I wouldn't know what was their own issue, you understand? So, and then I grew up not knowing her, because she was with another man, and then I was in a village. So it took many years before I knew that, okay, my mom was somewhere, you understand? So, and then my father too, she also left my father when I was just 3 days old, so I never knew him too. So I only knew my father when I was getting married. Where people had to say, we can't go to your home to marry you, to your mother's home to marry you. We need to know your father. That is where we must go and marry you. If not, there's no marriage. So the story is in that book. A lot of things. The book is actually packed because my story is one great story actually.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that movie.
Yes. And then like I was saying, I said it's amazing because people act their movies in Nollywood, and look at me, I'm in Nigeria, my story is all over in America, so God is amazing.
And then he's hitting Hollywood even before it gets to
Yes,
that's
so
okay.
that's it, yeah.
We know that Nigerians we're not small, and we think big, and big things happen to us. But talking about big things, I know that a lot of people, get blessed, and they refuse to share it out. But here you are, opening up branches to help people, Women Africa. I need you to speak on activities of Women Africa.
Okay, yes, like sometimes people ask me, when did you start? I didn't just start in 2016. I didn't. I started empowering young people when 2000 and maybe 2002, 3, 4. I was doing that with the young children, youth, picking them from the street and sending them to schools, some of them to learn one skill or the other.
You didn't have too much money then, so
I didn't even have. So everything I always have. Like I tell people, I say, because I have known that my blessing comes from the Lord, everything I have, I always put it down. That is for sure. I've always learned to put it down. I'll give you a story that happened. There was a time I was looking for a place to host a program in Umaya. So I had to pay 15,000 naira. Then 15,000 naira, 2005, 6 was like much money. And then somebody told me, say, why spend that kind of money? You should look for one place that you can pay 1,000 naira to host your program. I said, but I'm doing it for God. You understand? So I'm doing this thing for God. And he was like amazed why I should spend that kind of money that I didn't actually have. God took me from that 14,000 to 20,000, and now we can host a program in a place where we can pay 2 million, 1 million, just because we want to reach out to souls. And of course, some people may say, souls are, you can go to the villages. We worked in the village for 12 years. We're going from house to house, from village to village, evangelizing and doing all those stuff. At the time, God said that your work there is over, so you have to move. After Paul, on all the missionary work, it was from one missionary work to the next one and to the last one. You understand? So it's not just that you must reach out to the poor. It's not only the poor that need to hear the gospel. They are the rich men and women that need to, hear the gospel, and God must take you to their level.
Yes. What you say, makes a lot of sense to me, because a lot of times I was telling somebody I went to visit a friend, and this friend is supposedly very rich and everything available at home. And I have this habit, I don't go into people's homes empty-handed, I try to carry something. So on getting to the place, I went with just some, fingers of banana. And the way he pounced on the banana, I was like, hello. He said, do you know I haven't eaten?
Can you imagine?
I said, but I smell food. He said, I told the cook I needed to eat long ago, and it's taking forever. So the banana I came in was the savior. So but one will say, why are you carrying banana to this? So a lot of people sit down and assume that because you're rich, you don't need a gift. You don't need something, even if it's just a smile, it's important. But then you, far beyond giving the word of God, spreading the gospel, you have always had a way of, touching the lives, materially speaking, which is why I said you epitomize the John 3:16 for me. So talk to me, what is the challenge with our women, especially because you champion the cause of women, in getting out there and fulfilling their dreams socially and economically?
Well, it has not actually been easy, that Women Africa is not just church, it's a foundation. We have the aspect that talks about the church, and then other one that talks about the foundation is the way we have to empower women and then teach them what to do and all those stuff. But you see, and sometimes too I have my own discouraging moments. You understand?
Really?
Yes,
That's
I do have. I do have. Do you know why? We go out of our way and then we empower these women. when we empower them, sometimes financially, sometimes even with all these items like a hairdressing equipment, sewing machine, a fridge,
and
all these.
Give them a lot of coolers.
Yes,
and pots
all these things. Some of them go to sell it and use the money to buy Weave On. And some of them do a lot of things with this money. And then they still have a way of coming back to you. So sometimes I sit down and I wonder, I say, am I really doing the right thing? So that's the aspect I'm actually talking about when it comes to discouragement. Okay, like we say, okay, if you start a business with 20,000, we believe that business should grow to 20, to 30, to 40, to 50. When you have gotten the foundation of your business and then you're having profits coming in, then you can begin to make your hair. Nobody says you should not. Nobody says you should not wear your gold and diamonds, you understand? But you need to start somewhere. I've always talked about needs and wants, you understand? You cannot overlook your needs and go to your wants. Needs are the basic things that you want now. For instance, you just came out from secondary school. What do you want? You need to go to university. You understand? You're not looking for an iPhone or you want to drive a Lincoln. No, it's not right. So you have to look at what are my needs. That is it. Your needs comes first. And then when you have made it, you now begin to talk about, I want to live big, I want to live that. But look at me, I'm living for people. I live my life for people. Sometimes I begin to wonder. I say, what am I doing? Actually, if I want to buy the best of, you can imagine, okay, like recently, we had a program at the National Christian Center where to empower 200 women. I tell you, 200 women. Why? Because I believe that it's not just training them. After training them, what next? A one that is 45, 50 is not wanting to go and learn how to fix computer or do this. It needs a business. It could be you want to start up a small grocery shop or something like that. You understand? You just need a little money to start up. A startup something. That's what it is. And then we say, okay, we are going to empower some people 20,000, some people that want to sell like groundnut, pepper, 10,000. And then we see how they can, because I have this concept that most rich people, a rich woman will not go and start doing Uber. She will not. A rich woman will not go and start frying groundnut to, for herself. She will want to buy. A rich woman cannot start going to make a camel. You understand? She wants to, maybe you have a clean place and you're doing pap, and then she wants to be ordering your pap. So with 20,000, you can start such a business. You can start tomato business and all those stuff. We started giving them, we started from 10. In fact, we even empowered this one more than 200 persons, because there were people that were saying, we just want 3,000, we just want, what will it do for you? We've empowered people in Lagos and they are doing well, in Calabar.
Do you do monitoring as well to make sure that these things are not wasted?
Yeah, a lot of people, yes, we set people on motion to check out what they are doing. Some people have built some mini shops, that gives them money, which makes us happy. And then we also have some unfinished, projects, because you cannot do it all. Like, one of the project we have that we are still contemplating now is the University of Abuja, where we had to give them a 50% scholarship 2 years ago. But you do know, this one will talk one thing. This one will say, don't do with this one will eat the money. Don't do this one, we want to do it like this. This one will give to his person. That one just like that. And then we'll go confused, and so we are just like
waiting
for them to come up with something good, So we have had all this kind of experiences.
That's because the money is not going through the right way. So anyway, I quite appreciate your effort, and for those of them, 1 or 2 persons who actually told me your scholarship helped them in the school. I'm really happy for your activities around there. But then your activities are so loaded. Do you have time again for family?
I'm a home person actually. So I do a lot of things. I cannot stay out after 5 except something came up. I still cook my food. Yes, I still do that. In fact,
I'm going to challenge you on that. Yeah, I'm going to take you to the kitchen.
You see,
I'm right here now.
Oh my God! I
still
go to the market, still price them. Did you say it's is 10 naira. I say, why not 5 naira? So it's kind of fun. And then sometimes you buy and you say, keep the money. Because they don't know you. They don't need to know you. You understand? So I still do all those things. I still observe my home, know a lot of things that are going on in my home, still serve my husband food, still cook
the food yourself.
The food.
Okay.
Yes, I still do all those things. I still watch over my home. That is
important.
for sure. I still make sure my children go to school when they're supposed to go, and still make sure I give them their rights.
Okay, I need you to speak more to women who are out there watching us at this moment, who feel, okay, I'm now a big woman, I now eat in 7-8 digits, and then a lot of times they disrespect their husbands and really don't care about their home. I need you to speak to them.
Yes, a lot of things are happening in the homes. Like I will use myself as an example. You see, it doesn't matter who God chooses to bless first. God can choose to bless the man or the woman first, because the Bible says 2 shall become a 1. But in all this, there's still always, the gender issue, where you're the one making the money, even when you want to give it all. You understand? You still find such things. But when you find such things, you should know that, this is how it is. Life, you cannot get everything in life. I know of a woman, she orders food. When the husband is coming, she orders food. Maybe the husband is not around. When she knows that the husband is going, she orders food from the restaurant and look for
She doesn't have a kitchen?
She has big kitchen and everything. Then she will look for big plates. She knows how to keep big plates in her kitchen, and then she will now order those food and put there. When they say, this food is so nice, bring more. Say, the food is finished.
Oh.
Because she didn't cook the food, it's not in her pot.
Oh.
Yes. I also know women that when their husband keeps money for them, keep this money, we use it to start, something useful, When they will remember that their friend has a wedding and they are part of that ashebi, and they want to buy all those big clothes, and some of them will that is
they will borrow.
Why will you owe to buy clothes and cars even?
Yes, absolute stupidity. Now it's the celebration time. I need just 1 or 2 words to the people for the Christmas season.
Yes, it's Christmas. A lot of people will be coming from Lagos, US, London, and all this stuff. There are so many things that comes with Christmas. But while you're celebrating, remember that January is coming and the children need to go to school. So whatever you're doing, if you like, buy all the clothes in the market. Remember that January school will resume and you need to pay school fees.
Definitely.
And then your business, some people close their businesses, as in all the money they work from January, maybe they were doing small contribution. They are keeping that money for Christmas. Christmas is not just about doing all those bogus things. You can decide to just wear your simple thing and go to the church and worship God and thank God for keeping you alive from January to December.
Yes.
It's not that, look, some people will close down drinking bar. Is that Christmas?
Competition.
Look at the name, Christmas.
It's Christ.
It's talking about Christ. And he lived a humble life. So why will you kill yourself? And of course, Christmas is not a time where we go to steal. Because we need our children to wear clothes. I have taught my children not to be too conscious of clothes when it comes to Christmas, so that if I'm able to give to them, they will appreciate it. Not that they will be waiting, because I may not have money to do that Christmas that time. As I was coming up, like I said, I didn't do several Christmas because we had to grow to this level where we can now say, okay, we are doing Christmas and all those stuff. So Christmas is not time to, and Christmas is not a time to maybe marry anybody. Like people are coming from abroad, you come and say, hey, I want to marry somebody that is living abroad. You don't know if he's living in, you don't even know if the man is living in one roadside. Maybe he just wants you to come.
It could be in a shelter.
Anywhere, it can even be.
He may not even be wanting to marry you actually.
He just wants to make fun, and keep you and say, okay, just be in Nigeria. I'll come someday and marry you.
Yes.
And he may even be married there. So we have to be careful. Christmas is not all about too much bogus merriment. It's just celebrating Christ, thanking Him for keeping us alive in the land of the living.
All right. Thank you so much for that wonderful insight. I'm sure you thought in your mind that I was going to let you escape. You told me you can cook.
Yes.
And so right now, we're moving into the Emeribe's kitchen. Let me watch
Yes.
her cook and what she gives to her children.
Okay. All right, I'll just like change and then
Okay.
get into the kitchen and cook people a fair ferry. No. You know what I'm doing? I'm not a professional chef, but my parents taught me how to. I'm an African woman, so I know how to prepare the African food. Abi?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I want to learn another one, I'll now go to become a caterer or a chef somewhere. But for now, I'm going to give you what I know and what my family have been eating. And so this is crayfish, grinded crayfish, and this soup will not even take me anything.
Interesting.
So you can use, this is the chicken. So I didn't use the frozen chicken. I use the African. In fact, the native one, not even the broiler. I use the native one. You can also use goat, to cook this soup.
That's interesting. Well, as you can see, I am in the Emeribe's kitchen and I'm learning how to prepare afia efere. Afia efere simply means white soup, and afia efere is Calabar language. Okay? So
I'm using the Calabar system because that's where I was brought up. Even though I'm from Imo State, where my father comes from, but I'm more of a Cross River State, Ediba, and then my memories are actually there.
Calabar. That's
Calabar.
where my grandmom is.
Yeah, my grandfather. So I know much in that village. I can use my leg and show the whole village. I can just close my eye and begin to tell everything about the village. That if it's my father's place, I will not be able to say all that.
You never really grew up.
Yes, so I grew up here. So all my childhood memories are
Calabar.
Yes, Calabar.
Okay.
So
Lady of the house, Reverend Mrs. Ijoma Emeribe. You see, beyond being an entrepreneur, beyond being a philanthropist, beyond being a gospel preacher, beyond being a proprietress, do I start mentioning, beyond being a writer, a publisher, now she's gradually moving into the Hollywood. She's also a cook, she is the senior house of all this house. The show is a woman. I am Elizabeth. I'll see you again some other time.
I'm Deputy Comptroller of Customs Joseph Atta, the spokesman for the joint security exercise. Over a period of time, either through indifference or deliberate non-compliance to the ECOWAS protocol on transit of goods by our neighbors, the Nigerian Customs Service have been raising this issue. MOUs were signed severally. They were broken as soon as they were signed. We've seized over 32,050 kg bags of rice. And that is a huge impact. And then the fact that the coming in of this foreign rice have been completely shut down. We've gone around, we've received testimonies of farmers who, before now, found it difficult to sell one truck on a market day. These people say it now that those who could not sell one can now sell up to 20 trucks.
Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative and interactive on national issues accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us. Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
I was distressed to notice that some of the comments, especially in the social media, have crossed our national red lines by daring to question our collective existence as a nation. This is a step too far.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
News. The popular human rights lawyer and former unsuccessful opposition candidate for governorship position of Ekiti State, Femi Falana, has boarded the free publicity train for those seeking personal media attention in claiming the president is planning a third term in office. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, in a statement said the presidency wishes to correct internet-based gossip and uninformed media commentary regarding presidential term limits given credence by so-called support groups, staging street demonstrations asking President Muhammadu Buhari to do a third term. The statement adds that President Buhari is a Democrat who respects the Constitution, and so any activity aimed at altering the two-term limit would not succeed and shall never have his time nor support. The ongoing joint military and paramilitary operations of the Defense Headquarters have facilitated the release of 1,408 kidnapped victims across the country within the last 3 months. This was contained in the periodic media briefing by the Acting Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu in Abuja.
Historical antecedents of Ember Mons and the Yuletide indicate that unscrupulous and criminal elements within the society may take advantage of the festive season to perpetrate criminal and atrocious activities. The armed forces of Nigeria and the security agencies are not oblivious of public apprehension about these tendencies. It becomes necessary to reassure the public that the armed forces and other security agencies are working assiduously towards making the Yuletide a safe and secured season.
Updates of the operations that include Operation Safe Haven, Hadarin Daji, Thunderstrike, White Stroke and Delta Safe show that efforts of the personnel led to the liberation of 48 kidnapped victims and recovery of arms.
Environ is a joint internal security operation targeted at curbing the activities of bandits, kidnappers. The gallant troops have within the last 3 months neutralized several bandits in fierce combats and arrested 389 others.
And that's an update of the news of this hour. Join us again at 1 for another one. Good morning.
Welcome to the program and compliments of the season. Lizzie?
Compliments of the season. It's nice to be here again on Insights.
On Insight today, we shall go a bit relaxed. We will not do economy or politics. We shall be discussing religion. Today we shall be looking at Christmas and religious harmony in Nigeria. Within the program, we shall be discussing anti-corruption. We shall be discussing composure by leadership in terms of meeting timelines, policies, and the strength of institutions. And our media review.
Well, on the segment, we shall be taking a look at the revised downward guidelines for bank charges and fees. Now, the question is, how will the media help sync these guidelines? Would an ordinary man understand what these guidelines are all about? Why would I withdraw from my bank and I'm charged, even if I don't have money in that account? So these are some of the issues we'll be taking a look at. And of course, the USSD charges.
You know, a number of persons really complained and really cried out, and good thing the Central Bank of Nigeria has come to the rescue. So we hope and believe that the media will play its agenda-setting role to enable the people to know what and why and when.
Yes, they have to. Yeah, of course, it will take effect from the 1st of January 2020, which is just a few days from now, which is very important. Now, why would I sit down at home even if I don't have some money in my account, for example, and then I'm being charged? It's really absurd. So there's a check. The regulators have said no, there must be a check on activities of the banks.
Okay. Well, that would be that on the media review segment of the program. Well, it's a season of love, giving, and sharing. Christmas and religious harmony in Nigeria is up next on Insight. On the lips of many across the globe, a class is one simple comment, compliments of the season. And you ask, what is it all about? On the faces of so many, across class, globally, on the facial expressions is expression of giving, showing love, sharing, and you still ask, what is it all about? And the general answer is Christmas. What is Christmas, you may ask? It denotes various definitions, but ultimately, Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. So on this segment of the program, we shall be looking at Christmas and religious harmony. We will not go into the definition of Christmas, but we'll discuss other matters, disconnecting and connecting into what Christmas is all about, the essence of it as a people, the essence of it as Christians, as the essence of it as a people. My guest is Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama. Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama is the Catholic Archbishop of the Abuja Archdiocese. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
Glad to be here.
And once again, congratulations on your installation as the Archbishop of Abuja Archdiocese.
Thank you.
Also, very Reverend Oja Oji Obasi is the minister in charge, the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, Gwarimpa Parish, Abuja. Good to have you on the program.
God bless you.
And once again, compliments of the season. I'm highly honored to be here with you today. Now we ask the question. Christmas is here and it's more or less a routine, a global routine. Every year at this time, it comes, and like I said in my opening, all you hear is compliments of the season. You find love radiating in the air. You find sharing radiating in the air. So just to encapsulate Christmas.
It's so great to celebrate Christmas. Every year is that gift we celebrate of our Lord Jesus Christ. We celebrate the generosity of God the Father, who in his infinite mercy sent his Son to come and share divine love with us. Essentially, we are celebrating the incarnation of Jesus. Jesus taking flesh in order to live among us, to dwell with us, and to teach us the way to love. If you look at the life of Jesus, it's characterized by loving gestures to the hungry, to the sick, to the abandoned, to the harlots, to people of all kinds. He embraced them in love. And that was what he wanted to teach us: how to love, how to forgive, and how to live well with one another. This is what we celebrate at Christmas, the loving care that God has shown us through our Lord Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
So when we talk about this love, is it a restricted love, an open-ended love?
Love that is as wide as your hands or your arms can go. Love that is not conditional. Love that is very generous. Love that is patient and kind. Love that transcends barriers and doesn't consider tribe or even religious affiliation. Love that is able to break down the walls of political division, and love that sees another person as a brother, a sister, someone made in the image and likeness of God. That embracing love, that love without conditions, without barriers, is what we are talking about.
Okay. Reverend Oja, on this day is a day everybody within the world of Christians globally look up to, as much as we celebrate it at different levels, at different degrees, at different understanding. Yet, when it comes, we still find people deviating from what it is supposed to be. Yet we look up to it yearly. How best can we celebrate it?
Well, the first thing I have to say is that the reason why people deviate is because they lack understanding of the essence of Christmas. Many celebrate what they don't know. Many celebrate what they don't understand. Many celebrate what they think it is. Well, it is not that. Christmas, like I said some time ago, that Christmas is not about all the buyings, all the givings, all these things we do. Christmas is all about Jesus Christ and what he came to do, what the Father sent him to do. Christmas is about giving and forgiving one another. Christmas is all about the life of Christ, the life he lived. So those who deviate from the celebration have not embraced Christ.
if we read the Bible in Philippians chapter 2 verse 5, it said, let this mind be in you, which also was in Christ Jesus. He came in humility. He left everything in heaven and came down incarnated in the form of man. He humbled himself, dealt with issues in life. He was so humble among his disciples. He related with the lowly. He related with the humble. He related with the abandoned. He related with the sick. He related with the hungry. And he did all this, setting an example for us to follow. So until you have understanding of what he did, you cannot celebrate Christmas aright. So though we look up to it, because we think it is about a time to buy the best clothes, eat the best of food, kill chicken and the goat and everything, because we feel that we don't know. But the essence, we should understand. When we go out of the essence, we celebrate Christmas anyhow. I think that is what is happening even among the so-called Christians today.
Okay, now if you look at it from the perspective of Christmas, Jesus Christ, the birth of Jesus Christ, and you want to follow it hook, line, and sinker within the ambit of interreligious harmony, how do we want to go with it? Because today you are an apostle or an ambassador of interreligious harmony. Before you came to Abuja, we heard so much. Now, as a Christian, Christianity, how do I relate without opening up?
It will be contradictory to talk of Christianity and refusing to open. You open up, in fact, that is the essence of being Christians. You look out for the interest of others. A Christian that is self-centered, egocentric, cannot be said to be a full Christian. Christianity pushes you to seek the interests of other people, to seek to establish a relationship that is cordial. In the early church, the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 2, verse 45, chapter 4, verse 32, you see how the early Christians lived. They shared things in common. Nobody was lacking. There was that harmony. Even when there were problems, they knew how to solve the problems by appointing deacons to be able to take care of the daily distribution of food to those who were complaining. So Christianity impels you. It's a force that should make you to want to help others. There are no boundaries, there are no barriers. I tell people that Christ died on the cross with his arms like this, meaning that he is embracing the whole world. His death has a cosmic effect, namely the whole world, everything that is in the world. And it has also a universal effect, which means that anybody who lives in the face of this world is the child of God. Whether it's Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whether it's from the south or from the north, whoever he or she is a child of God. And therefore, you should extend your arms lovingly and embrace them. That is what makes you a Christian. Otherwise, your Christianity will be a contradiction of what Jesus taught us.
What about within the perspective of interreligious harmony, which you run so well?
That is it. That is why I feel so much at home with my Muslim brothers and sisters. When people say, these are other people, I say, no, these are our brothers. These are our sisters. I refuse to go along with those who create this artificial barrier, create a dichotomy between human beings. Just simply one is a Christian, because one is a Christian, one is a Muslim, then you create this huge barrier. It's unnecessary. So for me, I see in every human being a child of God. You may have no religion at all. I know you have 5 fingers, 10 fingers, you have 2 eyes, you are made by God. You are a special creation of God. And therefore, you must be respected. I must give you dignity. I must never do anything to hurt you. and to destroy you in any way. So I have that conviction that the more I am a Christian, the more I should move towards others who are not even Christians. And that is why I am a friend to many Muslims, the imams, the emirs, in many parts of the north here. I feel at home. I can take my telephone and call, and I get an answer. And if they miss my call, they call back. So that harmony is what gives me joy, that I don't discriminate between who is a Christian and who is a Muslim. It gives me satisfaction. And how I wish people could experience that and feel that. You feel good when you include everybody in the scheme of things. Just before I left Jos, there was a big party organized by the state government in my honor, a banquet. Considering that I have been living in Jos for almost 20 years, and I have worked with people, different ethnic groups, when there were crises, political, ethnic, religious, I was there. And the Muslims know that I had hosted Muslims in my house when they were being attacked. I fed them, looked after their children, and reunited them to their families. And this has been going on. I just visited the Emir of Wase not too long ago, then the Emir of Kanam. I had visitors from Germany, and I wanted them to know how we do it here in Nigeria. That yes, people give us such a bad name outside. They tell all kinds of stories about Nigeria, but I say, when you come, you'll see something different. So I went to the Emir of Wase. He was there with his big traditional council. He had a very special meal made for us. The Germans ate, I ate with great relish. And they were so wonderful. Then we moved to Kanam. The Emir was there with dancers and had food for us to eat. I felt at home, beautiful, completely relaxed.
That now leads me to the next question, which I take to Reverend Oja. Now, when you celebrate Mass, the faithful listen. When you preside over a service, the faithful listen. But when they go to the world, how should they conduct themselves within the ambit of this interreligious harmony? Because there lies the problem. Most often, we want to carry religiosity to extremes.
Well, the first thing we have to note here is that, like I said before, understanding is important. That we celebrate Mass, that we preach, depends on who listens. What is it carrying home? In our pulpits, we don't preach violence. We preach harmony. We preach peace. Christianity is peace. We don't fight. What we preach to our members is for them to go home and be the light. The Bible says we are the light of the world. If you feel others are not doing it well, when you go out, you should be able to show them how to do it. The Archbishop just said the Germans came, he took them for them to see how it is being done here, and they saw it. So that is what we should do. Anybody who goes out of it is not in line or in tandem of what we preach. The person is acting on his or her own, not because we teach them that. The Bible does not teach that. And if the Bible does not teach that, we cannot teach it, because we are called to teach the Bible and teach the life of Christ, the way he lived. We saw Christ in all aspects of life, everywhere. He dined and ate with those they called outcasts. He ate with them. He had a discussion with a woman that was abandoned at the well. He sat down with a woman that were trying to stone. He said, if you know you have not sinned, cast the first stone. But he was there with the woman. So he never rejected anybody. We are not supposed to reject anybody. We are supposed to tolerate. We preach tolerance from the pulpit. I don't think there is any man of God, don't think there is any bishop, archbishop, pastor, or whatever that will preach violence. We preach harmony. And that is what we do. We go out, we relate with the Muslims, we attend some interreligious affairs, interfaith programs everywhere. If you watch the television a few days ago, you discover that we were all there an interfaith program. In my church, in Abuja, in the north, I am the coordinator of communism and interfaith. So we don't discriminate and we don't preach it. Anyone practicing it is practicing out of his ignorance, not what he learned from the church.
So what message will you give to Christians now as we are celebrating?
The advice I should give them?
Yes, because that remains the issue.
The advice, simple advice, is that they should know themselves, know the Lord, because the knowledge of the Lord keeps you away from anything that is not right. If you know what God says, if you know what the Bible is saying, if you know the way Christ lived his life, I go back to that scripture that says, let this mind be in you. If you have understanding of Christ, if you read that scripture down, it says he humbled himself to the point of death. When he was stoned, when they were trying to stone him, he didn't organize people to retaliate. Some of the places he disappeared. He left the scene and went out because he didn't want violence. So my advice to Christians is that they should avoid violence, no matter how it comes.
Okay, Bishop, let's pull out a bit. Let's bend backwards a bit. All we are looking at, let's tie to governance. Now, leadership composure tied to attaining goals, targets, and policies, timelines, and the discipline of Christianity. What can you say about them?
Well, a Christian who is a leader should be guided by Christian principles. And there's nowhere you will find in the Bible or in any Christian teaching that you should do something immoral or corrupt. So, a Christian who is truly the bearer of Christ will try in all things, in all circumstances, to imitate Jesus Christ. And more so when you are a leader. Jesus was known for selfless service. He poured out himself for others. And you can see the sick, the deaf, the crippled, the hungry. He dealt with them in a very positive way, provided for them and all that. That is what leadership is all about. To come down to the level of the masses and the poor, the marginalized. If you are a leader, you should be guided by God's ways. And so you can never deviate. You can't go wrong. But our leaders sometimes focus on material things a lot, and that makes them to focus on themselves, and they refuse to see the masses that they are supposed to serve. And people suffer. I tell you, I am a priest. I work in the grassroots. I see for myself the agony, the suffering, and hardship that people go through. I sit in the office. I don't have any policemen to keep away poor people when they come. So they just barge into my office. And it is always, I'm hungry, I'm sick, I don't have this, I don't have that. So I said, I am a priest, but I have become a social worker because I have to attend to the needs of the people who are poor and abandoned. What of the elected councillors? What of the elected members of the House of Assembly, the senators, the House of Reps? What of the governors who were elected because they wanted to bring relief to the poor, to upgrade the socioeconomic condition of Nigerians? Where are they? What are they doing? So if they are Christians, then they must be guided by Christian principles. If they are Muslims, also there is provision for that in the Quran. Why can't we make the best of these two religions, which are the principal religions in Nigeria, exploit the positive in this religion and apply them? And I tell you, Nigeria will be among the best nations in the world if we leave self aside and embrace one another without discrimination, and then we are giving selflessly to others, not being so self-centered. I tell you, this nation, I don't know, we can climb the highest height and we shall do wonders.
Okay. Years back, as a growing journalist and reporter, we had a news conference precisely with the Catholic Bishops' Conference in Cross River State precisely. And one question that bothered us was, we have corrupt public servants, and we do have those who are not corrupt. They are Christians, they are Muslims, and we threw a challenge at the clergy to say, what will you do to reorientate the minds of these ones who are Christians? They listen to you every day, you preach to them. That takes me to the next question. What is your perspective regarding Christianity and anti-corruption in relation to what the government is doing currently? Because we cannot divulge ourselves from it.
Yes. Corruption is what the Bible or Jesus never allowed. So, if the government is fighting corruption the way it should be fought, we are 100% in support of them. The only way that, if you ask me, I will frown at is this picking out people to discipline. I call it discipline. Or to destroy their lives in the name of fighting corruption. To be very candid to you, Nigerian politicians, majority are corrupt. Even those of them who are Christians in the church.
That's the concern now.
Yes.
So as the man managing them,
yes,
what will you tell them regarding what government is saying? Government is against it, there's an onslaught against it, and people realize that all these persons, they are either Muslims or Christians, and they are corrupt. So given the stance of government, what is your say regarding anti-corruption in Nigeria?
Let me say this first. A person who is a real Christian and a real Muslim who practices Christianity the way it should be practiced and Islam the way it should be practiced will not get himself indulged in corruption. Okay. So if you see anyone who is corrupt, who is in the church, check his Christianity or her Christianity. He's not a Christian. He's only answering that name, coming to church or going to mosque. Because the two religions are against corruption. For us who are preachers, we preach against corruption. We tell our members to run away from corruption. Because one, the society is against it, the people are against it, God is against it. Anyone that practices corruption as a Christian should forget eternity with God, with Jesus. That is short and simple. If your focus is going to heaven, you can't indulge yourself with corruption in any way, no matter the level. So we preach. We are also fighting against corruption, like the government. We support the government. So if you pick any of my member that he is corrupt
and proven too,
I won't say I will support you. I will support the government, because like we have been saying here, people are suffering, and the reason for this suffering is corruption. People are so self-centered that you enter as a governor or as a local government chairman, even a councillor, within 2 weeks, everything about you will change. Where did you make the money? And we know these people are salaried people. How much will your salary? Where will your salary take you? The kind of affluence we see among them shows that something more than the salary is going on there. So we tell you the truth. The truth is that it is not Christianity. It is unchristian to enrich yourself with a public fund.
Okay, let's proceed. A few days ago, though the government has reacted to it, but let me get your opinion. The United States came up with a statement talking about Nigeria is intolerant, religious-wise. Is this true?
That is...
The Nigerian government is intolerant to religion.
I would say that is a hasty generalization, and is a very sweeping statement. There is nowhere in Nigeria you can find churches or mosques. I'm just coming from Calabar. I saw a mosque there. I've been to Sokoto. I see churches there. I've been to Kano. I met the emir of Kano. There are churches there. There's a Catholic bishop there, many other bishops. So I can't say that there is lack of religious freedom in Nigeria. What might be the problem is that sometimes there are subtle discrimination against certain people. You want to build a church somewhere and you are denied the papers, or the process is unnecessarily delayed, and at the end you don't get it. And then access to certain facilities are denied. In some schools, you can't teach, for instance, Christian religious education. In some media houses, you cannot have opportunity to do some Christian programs. And also, where Christians are in the majority, you find Muslims complaining that they are also excluded from having Islamic religious knowledge, in schools, and then their programs also are not aired on television and radio and so on. So there are these sort of things, but I cannot reduce it to religious intolerance. And it's not something that it's so obvious. Sometimes, yeah, we have problems. Definitely there's a problem of relationship between these two religions, Christianity and Islam, Muslims and Christians. They sometimes are suspicious of one another. There's a lot of distrust. And when somebody is in position, he wants to do things to favor his people. But even in government, you find out that people base things on religious affiliation. Are you a member of my religion? Then you have it good. Are you not? Then you suffer.
Should it be so?
It should. It is horrible. It is not godly. If you truly are a believer, it shouldn't discriminate on the basis of religion. So this is what is happening. We see it. People grumble, and sometimes nobody cares to listen. When you look at the composition in government, perhaps of the cabinet and all that, whether it was 4 years ago or today, you find out that sometimes they are lopsided. Sometimes the impression is given that this group is favored against this other, or this northern part is favored against the southern part. That is always happening in Nigeria. But I wouldn't reduce it to complete intolerance of religious beliefs and practice in Nigeria. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. That I'm here and I can have good rapport with my Muslim brothers. I can visit and be visited. At my own installation here, you saw the number of Muslims that came from Jos, the emirs that sent representatives, the ambassador to the Arab United Emirates was there and all that. So, for God's sake, that was a beautiful sight to behold. That Christians, Muslims, traditional rulers were all there. It's wonderful. And this is happening in Nigeria. So anybody who says we lack acceptance and tolerance of one another doesn't know the whole story. Come and see. Like the German visitors I told you came, they saw, they took videos, they went back and highly impressed with what is happening. I don't say there are no problems. There are problems. I don't say there is no interreligious tension. There are. We need to look at that, and that is where we come in. As religious leaders, sit together, iron out things, see the best way to resolve them through dialogue and through enlightened behavior. Not just because somebody abuses me, I start to fight, I take the cutlass and I start violent behavior. That is uncivilized behavior. So dialogue is the way out. We sit together, we look at things objectively with an enlightened disposition, and then we can find solutions. This is my secret. I've spent all my years in Jos, 20 years, dialoguing with ethnic groups, with political groups, and with religious groups. And I can say it has been quite successful.
Okay. Public governance beyond religiosity. You run government, you want to run it. So how can you do public governance beyond religiosity?
Public governance has nothing to do with religion.
But it plays out most of the time like he has said.
Yes, but all I have to say is that if you are in the public service, if you are in the government, religion is not the first thing you talk about. The first thing you talk about is qualifications, abilities. You talk about enlightenment, the things that make the government move. If you bring in religiosity, the government will crumble, because you bring those who are immature, those who are not capable, those who are not qualified to handle the affairs of governance. And that is what is happening today. You see, somebody who is not qualified, because he's a Christian like me, I will employ him, I will give him a position he does not know anything about. If we want to run government and run it well, we should look at what governance is all about. Jesus did not bring people because of where they come from. He brought them around him because he saw what they can offer. That is what it should be. What can you offer? Whether you are a Muslim or a Christian, a Hindu or whatever, and I know you can fit into this, you should be employed. You should be put in that place so that we get result. The reason why we are not getting result in governance is because we take mediocres and put into places in the name of religion. He's a Christian or he's a Muslim, therefore he has to be there. But religion has to be completely out of it. But I know no matter what you do, there must be an iota of it. But it shouldn't play the greater part. What we see now in our governance is that those who are ruling, their religion are predominant. Their members are those who are in everywhere. Once you are not there, part of that religion, you are out. If you bring a Christian to NTA today to head NTA, he may want to bring all the Christians, qualified and not qualified. Or you bring a Muslim, the same thing will apply. But Nigerians should come to a level where they have understanding what governance is all about. It's not about your brother or your sister. It's not about ethnicity. It's not about religion. It's not about tribe. It's about what you can offer, what I can offer to make governance what it should be.
Before I allow the two of you go on this segment of the program, I know within this period you have so many public speakings, you have so many sessions with people, with your members across the religious circles, and you'll be preaching all messages. Now I imagine you're talking to Christians regarding Christmas, you're talking to Christians regarding ahead of the year 2020. What will you be telling us if I'm one of them and so many others listen to you now?
I would say just be joyful, irrespective of the predicaments you may be going through. Jesus is coming. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And he brings solutions. He doesn't bring problems for us. So be open to receive him. He says in Revelation 3:20, I stand at the door and knock. If you open the door, hear my voice, open the door, and I will come in and dine with you, live with you, and you with me. So this is so important. When you have Jesus in you, then you can move into the new year with great confidence. I believe Jesus is the Lord, and therefore I have him in me. He is in me, I am in him. We are moving into the new year with confidence. People tend to despair a lot because of hardship, suffering, hunger, and what have you, lack of employment for the young people who are in their thousands on the streets and so on. They tend to give up, and this is not right. So we should not yield to the trick of the evil one, which is frustration and despair. He allows that to affect you so badly that you give up hope. Let's never despair. Let's never give up hope. Let's believe in ourselves and that we can do something. Let's not just depend on government, and let us also believe that those we elect into governance and position of authority should do the best they can to improve the situation of our people. So the new year, 2020, promises to be certainly a better year. If we carry our religious principles, ideas along, and they motivate our behavior, our actions, and whatever, I tell you, we shall see the difference. But if we don't, and we go just on our own without those values of our religion, we shall be dancing on the same spots. It will be a vicious cycle of poverty, corruption, and what have you. So let the new year bring something better. Okay. And I say, let us not give up. Nigeria is a beautiful country. There are potentials that are yet untapped. Okay. The new year might be this solution. 2020 might be it. So let's not give up. We're there, almost there.
Okay.
And
let me get your perspective.
Well, the new year promises to be better, but it depends on how we prepare to enter. As we celebrate, we should not celebrate as if we are dying the next moment. We should celebrate as those who have hope, celebrating in Christ. So my advice to every Christian and everybody, as we celebrate Christmas and hoping to enter next year, 2020, let's celebrate with understanding that Christmas is all about love, the love of God, and the love we share with one another. Jesus came to share that love. He gave the love to us, and we need to share that love to one another. If we love, the Bible tells us love counts no error. Love is patient. So we need to be patient with the Lord, no matter what is happening in Nigeria today. Yes, people see Nigeria as a place where nothing is moving, as if we are stagnant, but I don't see it like that. We are moving. I preached in the church the other day, just last Wednesday, I told them, don't give up. Who tells you Nigeria is bad? Nigeria is not bad. It depends on what you feel. For me, Nigeria is okay. The period we are in is a preparatory period, and we are launching into a better year come 2020.
Okay, let me tie up with the bishop. Now, I use the word composure. If you're overwhelmed, you could lose composure. And that's a tendency in Nigeria. Nigeria is multifaceted, multi-religious, multi-ethnic, multilingual. And if you find yourself in the saddle based on the connections and disconnections, you could lose composure. Now, what word of encouragement do you have for our leadership from the president across the divide so they don't lose composure despite the distractions?
Distractions should not cause leaders to generate problems. And for sometimes this country appears to be on the brink of collapse, of disintegration. But God loves us. God loves this country so well. And we have been brought back, redeemed from things that would have destroyed all of us. So our leaders must do their work. Our leaders must be conscientious. And like I said, if they just apply the religious principles that they have been taught since childhood, I tell you the difference will be there. But unfortunately, people get into positions of authority and they change. There's a transformation that is negative. And you see people becoming so flamboyant, and the big population is in misery, in poverty, while the few are off to overseas for smallest holidays, for treatment and things like that. Their children are very privileged. They know the schools to send them to and so on. So I think our leaders have a lot to do. Okay. And they have our prayers. I don't believe in confrontation. I believe in dialogue. I want to tell my leader, one-on-one, that this is wrong, and give me audience. And this is what I tell the ministers, I tell the governors. I say, no need to be shouting on the pages of the newspaper. I will look for you in your office if you don't come to me. And let us talk about the problems of Nigeria. As the children are suffering, the youth and the women and all that, let's talk about this in a mature way. And if you listen to me, then problem is solved.
Thank you very much. Starting from my far left, very Reverend Uja Oji Obasi, Minister in Charge, Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, Gwarimpa Parish. It was nice talking with you on Inside. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
And also Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama, Catholic Archbishop of Abuja Archdiocese. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm also in the program. We are blessed today because the messages you have churned out to Nigerians is within the ambit of the celebration. Once again, compliments of the season.
Thank you.
Bless you.
That's the on this segment of the program. Up next on Insight is the media review segment. Don't go away.
Thanks for joining us on the media review segment of the program. The Central Bank of Nigeria has reviewed downward most charges and fees for banking services, and this will take effect from the 1st of January 2020. What is it about these revised guidelines? My guest, who is a business editor with the NTA, Leah Katung-Baba, today will provide answers. It's nice to have you in our studio.
Thank you very much.
All right, really, what is it about these guidelines? What do we need to understand?
Okay, firstly, I would say it is a timely revision coming from the fact that Nigeria has been striving to attain financial inclusion coverage, and 2020 is just around the corner. But when you see people being shy of transacting with financial institutions, you begin to check and see what are those things that are making them keep their money away from the banks. Now, for instance, the fees on the ATM charges. You go to an ATM that is not your financial institution, you use it for 3 times, and then you get billed 65 naira. Now the central bank is saying from January, instead of 65 naira, it's been revised downwards to 35 naira. For me, I might say it's not really what most people bargain for, but it is a worthy step in the sense that you go to most of the ATMs, they've been programmed. You can't really withdraw above 10,000 naira per tranche.
Yes, some machines are like that.
Yes, so with this one, it's a sort of relief that you can go 3 times and pay 35 naira. So when you look at it across board, how many people are transacting across ATM machines in one day?
Okay.
Then you understand
now,
the weight.
I'd like to quote you there. Why would I go to the bank or a particular automated teller machine to withdraw? And I have options: 2,000, 5, 10, 15, 20. And then these machines are programmed in a way that you can't just collect 20,000 naira. You have to collect in bits. Why? And you are charged.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with the banking sector, which I'm sure we'll be picking up with the central bank subsequently, because most of these banks have programmed their machines, especially if you're not their customer, you cannot get above 10,000 naira per tranche.
Per transaction?
Yeah.
Okay, now, could you highlight these guidelines for us?
Okay, I would be coming up from also the card maintenance fee.
Okay.
So you begin to wonder, you're operating a savings account, and then you pay for the maintenance of that savings account that has no checks, for instance. And most savings accounts really don't do heavy transactions like the current accounts, but then you have to pay to maintain it every month. You pay to maintain the card that is in your pocket. So really,
that is so
what is
not
maintaining?
fair.
Yes. So these complaints have come time and time again, and then the bank is now reviewing them downwards, which I think is also good. So okay, initially you pay 50 naira every month for maintenance, and the bank is saying no, now you pay a maximum of 50 per quarter. So you see, you're paying just 200 naira, which is also fair to an extent, but we'll be expecting that the central bank will do much more to gain the confidence of most of the people out there, so they could bring their monies into the bank.
Okay, now let's talk about the unstructured supplementary data, USSD charges. How far about that?
Okay, the USSD platforms, you know, it was also to encourage the transactions, so you could easily with your phone send or receive money. But now they just keep coming. Once you do a transaction, if you observe, you use any of those 3 figures, you get billed for initiating such transactions. So it's also been reduced, it's been revised downwards. So most of the little transactions you do, let's say from 5,000 naira, would not be the bulk kind of fees that come with it. It's now just in classes. So those down there doing little transactions, I mean, if we're saying 1% across board, it's fair. As the amount increases, the percentages increase quite good.
Okay.
But if you're taking 10% per transaction, for instance, on all amounts, it's now really unfair.
Okay. Now, let's bring it down to the media. What would be the role of the media in ensuring that Nigerians understand what the guidelines are all about?
Okay, that's for we in NTA. I think it is important that we notice that the NTA started these media enlightenment quite as soon as it came out. And so here I would say we're going to take it off. And I'm sure most of the finance and business correspondents and editors will do justice to that. So we'll do most of the stories across board. Most of our programs will be reflective of what this is. And hey, people should know their rights. If I'm going to be, for instance, be paying for a service, I should know the advantages and disadvantages that come with the service. The person I'm transacting with, if they don't keep to their end of the bargain, this is what the regulator says. So it's as important as that. When the central bank says that with breaking or any infraction, it would to attract about 2 million, or as they deem it fit, we ensure that the central bank hits the hammer on the head that deserves it. So I think that's what the media will be doing here. The fourth realm of the estate will do just that.
Somebody asked a question. He said, what if the banks come up with another way of collecting the same money from Nigerians?
And that's why our eyes are
their
open.
customers.
Our eyes are open. But really, banks don't have the authority to just bring about fees.
Okay.
They would have to do that with the consent of the apex regulator, that's the central bank. Yes. So it's not really easy for the banks to just wake up and bring fees. All those hidden charges, we try to advise people, when you see the charges, just walk to your customer care desk and ask questions about them. If you're not satisfied, you can just approach the central bank. They have a dedicated line now, which I'm sure they will be making public once in a while. So you could call them or send an email or meet them through the social media platforms and ask questions. I think it's time Nigerians begin to hold the service providers more accountable. Yes. So when you're not satisfied, you ask questions. If they give you responses you're still not satisfied with, you still demand for answers. The customer is always right.
Yes, the customer is always right. All right, Leah Katumba Batunde, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for enlightening us.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget, always ask questions. Walk into any of the banks and ask questions. That's it on the Media Review segment this week.
Well, Lizzie, we're about to go.
Yeah, don't forget, always ask questions. If you feel you have been shortchanged by your bank, just walk into the bank and ask questions. And don't forget, it's a season of love. Show some love and make someone happy.
And celebrate, eat, share, so you live to see 2020. Thanks for watching. Once again, compliments of the season. On behalf of all of us, bye-bye.
I'm Deputy Comptroller of Customs Joseph Atta, the spokesman for the Joint Security Exercise. Over a period of time, either through indifference or deliberate non-compliance to the ECOWAS protocol on transit of goods by our neighbors, the Nigerian Customs Service have been raising this issue. MOUs were signed severally. They were broken as soon as they were signed. we seized over 32,050 kg bags of rice. And that is a huge impact. And then the fact that the coming in of this foreign rice have been completely shut down. We've gone around, we've received testimonies of farmers who, before now, found it difficult to sell one truck on a market day. These people say it now that those who could not sell one can now sell up to 20 trucks.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative and interactive on national issues accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the Social Investments Program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us. Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
I was distressed to notice that some of the comments, especially in the social media, have crossed our national red lines by daring to question our collective existence as a nation. This is a step too far.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Yes. Oh. Now my dirty this.
It's that time of the year when people usually make last-minute movement to different parts of the country to celebrate with loved ones. This season is usually characterized with heavy vehicular presence on roads and last-minute rush by motorists, probably in the quest to profit more from brisk business. The resultant effect is increase in road traffic crashes. Statistics from the Lagos Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps led credence to this fact, as more crashes were said to have been recorded within the space of 10 days than in a single month, not within the Ember months. Although the command is strengthening its enlightenment and traffic control mechanism, the consensus of the people is that there is need for increased surveillance within the Lagos corridor based on the volume of vehicles plying the route this season. On Panorama today, we will be examining safety on highways during the Yuletide. I am Hinginu John Adams. We will be right back. Thanks for being with us. We begin with security. The war against illegal oil bunkering is getting more fierce as men of the Western Naval Command have embarked on the demolition of shanties where suspects operate, uncovering man-made oil wells. More than 300,000 empty jerrycans meant for evacuation of the product were also set ablaze. Ruth Ario-Samuel reports that the raid took place at the Akaraba community on the Atlas Corps in Lagos.
Code-named Operation Kurombe, the Western Naval Command combed the length and breadth of the Atlas Cove axis, making discoveries of man-made oil wells created from vandalized NNPC pipelines. Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Oladele Daji, Leading Air Officer Commanding Logistics Command and GOC 81 Division, reiterated the command's resolve to stamp out all forms of illegal bunkering within the Lagos-Ogun corridor.
The pipelines must be sanitized, the theft must stop, and all those involved in the illegalities will be brought to book.
Aside the 300 empty jerrycans, 30,000 fuel-filled jerrycans were also discovered and destroyed. Pulling down the abode of suspected bunkers within the vicinity, the operation is one of the arms of Operation Awatsi. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Still on security, the ongoing joint military and paramilitary operations of the Defense Headquarters has facilitated the release of 1,408 kidnapped victims across the country within the last 3 months. Acting Director Defense Information Brigadier General Onyema announced this in Abuja at the periodic media briefing.
Historical antecedents of Ember Months and the Yuletide indicate that unscrupulous and criminal elements within the society may take advantage of the festive season to perpetrate criminal and atrocious activities. The armed forces of Nigeria and the security agencies are not oblivious of public apprehension about these tendencies. It becomes necessary to reassure the public that the armed forces and other security agencies are working assiduously towards making the Yuletide a safe and secured season.
Updates of the operations that include Operation Safe Haven, Hadarin Daji, Thunderstrike, Royal Stroke, and Delta Safe show that efforts of the personnel led to the liberation of 48 kidnapped victims and recovery of arms.
NIT Environ is a joint internal security operation targeted at curbing the activities of bandits, kidnappers. The gallant troops have within the last 3 months neutralized several bandits in fierce combats and arrested 389 others.
Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, has reiterated the commitment of the federal government to tackling security challenges in the country. He was speaking at the combined graduation ceremony of the mid-level officers courses and the trainee of the Armed Forces Resettlement Center, Oshodi in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports.
The Nigerian Armed Forces Resettlement Center plays a critical role in meeting the increasing requirement of retiring servicemen of the armed forces by providing them with entrepreneurial and vocational skills to reintegrate them into civil life. Minister of Defense Major General Bashir Magashi advised participants to shun negative influences and engage in lucrative ventures, stressing the federal government's commitment to ensuring that service personnel are properly settled after 35 years of service to the nation.
This place has really developed to solve the problem of our soldiers who are wounded in the war front. Early 70s, we decided to rehabilitate them, and this center was fixed.
The 527 servicemen and women of the armed forces and 27 mid-level officers were trained in various entrepreneurial management and vocational courses.
It is therefore encouraging that you go to professional areas you have imbibed over the years by making obedience.
I intend to run a business center / computer school.
The center is also being proactive in pursuing its mandate, and this remodeled structure is a manifestation of the various plans to ensure a conducive environment for both trainees and personnel of the center. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Away from security now, Christmas Less than 24 hours to Christmas, the ever-busy Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is giving pleasure rides to motorists and travelers, as the traffic congestion usually associated with the road during the season has halted. Michael Olale has the situation reports.
Annually, motorists and commuters plying the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway are apprehensive of gridlock on that route at Utai, owing to the prevalence of human and vehicular movement on that axis. The apprehension was more intense with the diversion on the Magboro section, brought about by the ongoing construction. But what the situation is this year is beyond the imagination of the road users, as stated by those respondents.
We thank God in this year, there's no any hold up. Traffic is there, okay, no problem for everybody where they go work place now.
For this moment, the traffic is not that much as before. The time they block Beggar, but for now the traffic is less.
Going to Beggar from Magboro, there's no traffic on the road like that, but there's just all these public transport that are just inflating the price of the transportation.
Just like Magboro section, Kara Bridge, one of the flashpoints of traffic congestion, was also devoid of any gridlock. Lagos State Sector Commander, Federal Safety Corps, Hygienist Meji, gives an insight into the developments.
What happened was just that people envisaged that the traffic situation is going to worsen as the Christmas approaches. But so to that effect, a lot of people left, and now we are having the road as free as A. I was also surprised myself.
The expectation from the Corps is for motorists to abstain from drinking alcohol while driving and obey traffic rules to ensure safety on Nigerian roads throughout the Utai and beyond. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
Joining me in the studio to talk more on this is the Deputy Corps Commander Operations of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Lagos, Matthew Cyril. You're welcome on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Let's take it from where that report ended. It's obvious that we are not foreseeing congestion on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. So what is the Corps doing to check overspeeding and overloading? Because we know that definitely people are hurrying, people are taking goods out of Lagos and into Lagos. What are you doing to curtail that?
Actually, we envisage that there will be high influx of motorists going out of Lagos by the weekend. We actually commenced the special patrol on the 15th of this month, and we camped over 100 personnel in Ojodu office, and we also have a camp again in Mowi to be able to, manage the traffic situation along that corridor. On Friday, to be precise, around 2 a.m., we had a platform where most of our operatives on night started sending messages to show us how rowdy and clumsy the traffic situation was. And we had to communicate all those at the camps to move, and we route lined them. And throughout that Friday night to Saturday, we were able to manage the situation. Now that so many people have left and the road is in good shape, the issue of overspeeding now comes in. So what we're doing now is to calm, motorists from overspeeding and to ensure that the erring one are brought to book through quick dispensation by our mobile courts that we have set along the corridor. So that's what we're doing presently, and we are having very good time now monitoring the situation.
So are you getting cooperation from the drivers and the passengers concerning this?
Yeah, we're having a very good, getting a good cooperation with them. And it's not partly born out of, it's possible because of what we've been doing before. What we had prior to this time is what we call early morning cry. And in doing early morning cry, we visit most of the parks in Lagos State. Virtually all the commands are mobilized, and you don't do less than about 3 motor parks rallies, which what we call early morning cry, in which not just the drivers but the passengers too are being enlightened to know their rights while on transit, so that the driver just don't drive them anyhow. So, and in such doing, we equally let them know that all traffic law enforcers meant good for them, not that they are against them. It's to enable them get from point A to point B safely, because they entered into a contract by paying that stipends, or what they call transport money, to the driver. It's for them to carry them safely from point A to B, and it's their own responsibility to ensure that any attempt by the driver to drive recklessly, they should, voice out, they should chorus, they should jointly ensure that they stop the driver from doing that. And where he refuses, any available checkpoint, either of the police, road safety, or any other uniform organization, they have the right to report such a driver, and that driver would seriously be punished.
Okay, what is the number of personnel the Lagos Command has deployed for this campaign?
We deployed over 2,000 personnel. That is the regulars and the special marshals, and they cut across all the cranes in Lagos, especially the special marshals inside the town. They move also to control traffic in some congested areas, whereas the regulars are more at the corridor doing the needful.
Okay, talking about crashes now. How many crashes have been recorded since the beginning of this campaign?
Well, we should have, for now, about 15 or thereabout. But one thing is certain, in as much as we cannot remove road crashes on the highway, what we always preach is that if it must happen, the impact of such a crash should not be much. We preach seriously against fatality in the course of any crash. And that's why the issue of speed limiting device comes in. So much of the crashes we've been having, we've recorded less than 1% fatality.
Okay, you talked about reducing the impact. So what is the command doing differently this time around to curtail this?
Yes, at those areas where maybe black spots areas where the roads is not too good, and also where the roads are good, where people can run, speed too much, our personnel are lining up. They will line them, so they are calming down the motoring public, especially the drivers, so that they will not speed too much. And also at that point, the places where we call black spots, they are not too good in terms of the road network. Our people are also there to conscientize these drivers, so that when they get there, they will, reduce their speed in order not to have crashes.
Okay, I've seen situations whereby road safety officials will be maybe flagging down a vehicle, slow down, and the vehicle will just speed off. Is it advisable that your personnel follow that person, or what do you do?
What we do in such instances, we take the number of the vehicle. We are automated. We go through the auto rec. We can just search, and it will pop up all the information about that, the owner of the vehicle. And once we get that, we would issue out we'll send a message to the person and possibly issue out what we call a flying ticket. And such people usually come down to the office to pick their tickets and go to the bank and pay the necessary fines. And where they fail to do that, we might now ask our legal department to go to court and arraign them.
Okay, talking about the safety of passengers now, you find out that some drivers drink before they start driving, or in the course of driving, they will be drinking. What are the measures you're taking to curb this?
Yeah, I earlier made mention of the issue of early morning cry. That's part of the things we do. Most of our personnel that go to these parks, they go with breathalyzers, where they test most of the drivers who are to embark on journeys, and anyone they found, going against, having some percentage of alcohol, would insist that that driver does not drive. And we've equally been talking to the organized transport unions to discourage not just the sales of alcohol, but the consumption of alcohol around their parks. Since there's no legal framework, and since there's no law forbidding it now, but what we've tried to do, liaising with the National Assembly to ensure that a law comes out to ban the sales of alcohol. But before then, we've been discouraging people from buying, and the unions, most of them have been cooperating with us, and they've been on top of the situation in ensuring that their drivers don't drink before driving.
Okay, you just spoke about one of the palliative measures, the mobile court. So can you tell us what are the results you're getting? It's a different thing to set up a mobile court, and it's a different thing for us to get results from that mobile court. What are the outcome? Or what's the outcome?
The reason why we even have mobile courts is for quick dispensation of justice. And most motorists don't like even appearing before the magistrates. So, conscious of the fact that they will appear before the magistrate, they will be charged for one thing or the other, and the records will be there, because they never can tell tomorrow they'll be vying for one political post and this, and their opponents could use these things against them. So most of them always adhere, and the result has just been very, very good.
Okay, so now finally, what's your message to road users during this festive period?
Well, to all road users over there, the essence of leaving point A to B is to get to that place safely. Nobody ever prays that when I'm leaving this place, something should happen to me. So all of us have a role. It's a collective and a concerted effort in ensuring that whoever uses the road, either as a driver, as a passenger, as a pedestrian, as a motorcyclist, you have the right to use the road. And in as much as you have the right, all other ones have the right to use the road. The only thing, you need to obey all traffic rules and regulations, adhere to them, and respect them.
All right, thank you for coming on the program, Matthew Cyril, the Deputy Corps Commander Operations of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Lagos.
Thank you for having me.
We now take a break. Panorama continues shortly.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to so let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogerula. Change begins with you and me. Oh, change begins with me. Oh, change begins with me. Oh, change begins with me.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to judicial matters. Justice Ahmed Mohamed of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has recused himself from hearing the case of the convener of the Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Sowore. Justice Mohamed, who returned the case file to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court for reassignment, however cited allegation of corruption leveled against him by Sowore in 2016 as reason for declining to hear the case, Olabode Arewa reports.
Omoyele Sowore filed an ex parte application seeking an expeditious hearing of his application. He is challenging his continued detention, which he said is an infringement of his fundamental rights. The Director General of the Department of State Services and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice are the respondents. The case was assigned to Vacation Judge Justice Ahmed Mohamed. Counsel to the DSS, Godwin Agbadua, informed the court that the agency was yet to receive the applicant's processes. Contrary to these claims, the court records indicate that the DSS and the Attorney General of the Federation have been served with the court processes. Justice Ahmed Mohamed, while hearing the arguments of the counsel, recalled that Sahara Reporters, of which Omoyele Sowore is the publisher, had in 2016 made bribery allegations against the judge. He subsequently recused himself from the case.
Even though it starts to do with the liberty of our client, unfortunately, we had no choice in the matter. And all the counsel agreed that the best thing for his lordship to do, was to recuse himself.
Omoyele Sowore is facing allegations of treasonable felony. He was earlier granted bail and rearrested by the DSS on December 6th. The Court of Appeal Abuja has also set aside the Federal Court judgment which disqualified the APC deputy governorship candidate in Bayelsa State, Mr. Degi Eremionyo, from contesting the 2019 Bayelsa governorship election. The three-man panel of justices, led by Justice Stephen Ada, held that the PDP's allegation that Degi submitted false information to INEC was not proved. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa.
The next edition of the tournament, Bose Kafo Wheelchair Basketball Club won the third place match 30 to 80 points at the expense of Tolad Sunshine Wheelchair Basketball Club.
We want to encourage other states to form their teams and send to this tournament.
From Kaduna, Abdullahi Muhammad reports that Nigeria volleyball female team, currently in camp ahead of the Zonal Olympics qualifiers, are perfecting strategies with a promise to pick a ticket to the 2020 Olympics Games. Nigeria will be competing with the toughest and African champions, Kenya and Cameroon, at the qualifiers slated for January 2020 in Cameroon.
We believe in a couple of years to come, this team will be going to be a great team in Africa.
On the grassroots volleyball, Abdullahi Umar Ilalu from Kebbi reports that Kaduna State has won the 2019 Northwest Zone Female Under-17 Volleyball Championship held in Benin, Kebbi State. The organizers said the tournament was part of measures to scout for young players for the national teams.
We are looking at their future in the national team. We have been able to bring in some national coaches here.
The winners are to represent the zone at the national championship. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NT News.
That's our beat on Panorama from the Lagos Network Center. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.
My name is Balaunti. I'm the Managing Director of Petroleum Product Marketing Company, a subsidiary of NNPC. There are significant price discrepancy between Nigeria and its neighbors across Africa. There's a discrepancy of between 150 to 250 naira. That creates an incentive for arbitrage, whereby smuggling triumphed by taking petroleum products across the neighbors so that they can be sold at higher price. While the smugglers are making the money, Nigeria is paying for it. And that payment is distorting everything that we do in terms of planning, in terms of our ability to fund, and thereby taking money that is meant for development. The introduction of this Operation White will have a reduction of close to 6 million liters on a daily basis, which if you take an average of 150, translate to a saving of over 1 billion naira every day. That is the benefit of Operation White, and we have started seeing the great benefit.
Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have an existing business or great business idea? Then Africa's Young Entrepreneurs Empowerment Nigeria, ION, is a program for you, where thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs will be empowered with business funding, mentorship, specialized skills training, and equipment. To register for the ION 2019 program, visit www.ion.ng. Fill in your personal and business details, check your email frequently, and follow us on all our social media platforms for regular updates. For more information, visit www.ayen.ng or call 070-0044-4444. ION 2019, showcasing and empowering Nigerian entrepreneurs.
This is the network service of the NTA.